Namaste. All glories to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Kṛṣṇa Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Antya Lila, Chapter 14, Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's feelings of separation from Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the following summary of the 14th chapter. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's feelings of separation from Krishna resulted in highly elevated transcendental madness. When he was standing near the Garuda Stamba and praying to Lord Jagannath, a woman from Orisha put her foot on the Lord's shoulder in her great eagerness to see Lord Jagannath. Govinda chastised her for this, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised her eagerness. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the temple of Lord Jagannath, he was absorbed in ecstatic love and saw only Krishna. As soon as he perceived this woman, however, his external consciousness immediately returned, and he saw Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also saw Krishna in a dream, and he was overwhelmed with ecstatic love. When he could no longer see Krishna, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu compared himself to a yogi and described how that yogi was seeing Vrindavan. Sometimes all the transcendental ecstatic symptoms are manifest in him. One night, Govinda and Swarup Damodar noticed that although the 3 doors to the Lord's room were closed and locked, the Lord was not present inside. Seeing this, Swarup Damodar and the other devotees went outside and saw the Lord lying unconscious by the gate known as Simhadvara. His body had become unusually long, and the joints of his bones were loose. The devotees gradually brought Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu back to his senses by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And then they took him back to his residence. Once, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu mistook a sand dune known as Chataka Parvata for Govardhan Hill. As he ran toward it, he became stunned, and then the 8 ecstatic transformations appeared in his body due to great love for Krishna. At that time, all the devotees chanted the Hare Krishna mantra to pacify him. Text 1. Krishna vicheda vibrantya manasava pushadiya yad yad vyadhata gorangas talesha katyate duna. I shall now describe a very small portion of the activities performed by Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu with his mind, intelligence, and body when he was bewildered by strong feelings of separation from Krishna. Two. Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Svayam Bhagavan Jaya Jaya Gora Chandra Bhakta Gana Prana. All glories to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All glories to Lord Gaurachandra, the life and soul of his devotees. 3. Jaya Jaya Nityananda Chaitanya Jivana Jaya Advaita Charya Jaya Gora Priyatama. All glories to Lord Nityananda, who is Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's very life, and all glories to Advaita Acharya, who is extremely dear to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. 4. Jaya Svarupa Shrivasadi Prabhu Bhakta Gana Shakti Deha Kariyena Chaitanya Varnana. All glories to Swarup Damodar and all the other devotees headed by Srivas Thakur. Please give me the strength to describe the character of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. 5. Prabhura Viranmada Bhava Gambira Bhujitena Parekeha Yadyapi hayadhira. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's emotion of transcendental madness and separation from Kṛṣṇa is very deep and mysterious. Even though one is very advanced and learned, he cannot understand it. 6. Bhujite na pariyaha varnite ke pare sehi bhuje varne Caitanya Shakti dena yanre. How can one describe unfathomable subject matters? It is possible only if Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu gives him the capability. 7. Svarupa Goshani Ara Raghunatha Dasa Ei Durira Kadachate E Lila Prakasha. Swarup Damodar Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami recorded all these transcendental activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu in their notebooks. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental feelings of separation from Kṛṣṇa and his consequent madness are not at all understandable by a person on the material platform. Nonetheless, so-called party of devotees named Nadia Nagari has sprung up and introduced the worship of Vishnu Priya. This certainly indicates their ignorance concerning Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. In the opinion of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, such worship is a product of imagination. Many other methods of worshipping Caitanya Mahaprabhu have also been introduced, but they have all been rejected by stalwart devotees like Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The groups practicing such unauthorized worship have been listed by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Aula Bhaula Kartabhaja Nedha Dara Vesha Shani Sahaja Shaki Beki Smarta Jata Goshani Ativadi Chudadhari Goranga Nagari. Swarup Damodar Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami witnessed Caitanya Mahaprabhu's activities. Therefore, without reference to these notebooks, one cannot understand the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone inventing some new method for worshipping Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is certainly unable to understand the Lord's pastimes, for he is bereft of the real process of approaching the Lord. Eight. Sekale eduhirahena Mahāprabhu pase arhasabha kadacha karta rahena duradeshe. In those days, Swarup Damodar and Raghunath Das Goswami lived with Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, whereas all other commentators lived far away from him. Besides Swarup Damodar and Raghunath Das Goswami, there were many others who also recorded Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's activities. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur believes that the people of the world would benefit greatly if such notes were available. It is a most unfortunate situation for human society that none of these notebooks is still extant. Nine. Chane chane anubhavi edui jana sankshepe bahulye karena kadacha grantana. These two great personalities, Swarup Damodar and Raghunath Das Goswami, recorded the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu moment by moment. They describe these activities briefly as well as elaborately in their notebooks. Purport. For future reference, we should remember that Swarup Damodar Goswami recorded the pastimes briefly, whereas Raghunath Das Goswami recorded them elaborately. These two great personalities simply recorded the facts. They did not create any descriptive literary embellishments. 10. Svarupa Sutra Karta Raghunatha Vritikara Tarha Bahulya Varni Panjitika Vyabhara. Srup Damodar wrote short notes, whereas Raghunath Das Goswami wrote elaborate descriptions. I shall now describe Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's activities more elaborately, as if fluffing out compressed cotton. Purport. Panjitika means further explanations of a subject. Writing such explanations is likened to the process of fluffing out cotton. 11. Tate Vishvasa Kari Suna Bhavera Varnana Haiba Bhavera Gyana Paiba Prema Dana. Please hear faithfully this description of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic emotions. Thus you will come to know of his ecstatic love, and ultimately you will achieve love of Godhead. 12. Kṛṣṇa Mathuraya Gele Gopirhaye Dasahaila Kṛṣṇa Vichede Prabhura Se Dasa Upajila. When Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu felt separation from Kṛṣṇa, his condition exactly corresponded to that of the gopis in Vrindavan after Krishna's departure from Mathura. 13. Udhava darshane yaiche radhara vilapa krame krame haila prabhura se unmada vilapa. The lamentation of Srimati Radharani when Uddhava visited Vrindavan gradually became a feature of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental madness. 14. Radhikara bhave prabhura sada abhimana sei bhave apana kehaya radha jnana. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's emotions exactly corresponded to those of Srimati Radharani when she met Uddhava. The Lord always conceived of himself in her position, and sometimes thought that he was Srimati Radharani herself. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that the purport of the word abhimana, or self-conception, is that Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu thought himself to be in the position of Srimati Radharani and was always ready to render Krishna service in that way. Although Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, he assumed the complexion and emotions of Srimati Radharani and remained in that status. He never assumed the complexion or status of Lord Krishna. Of course, Krishna wanted to experience the role of Srimati Radharani, that is the original cause of his assuming the body of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, pure Vaishnavas never disturbed Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's conception of being Srimati Radharani. Unfortunately, at the present time, a so-called group of devotees maintain that Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is the enjoyer and that they are enjoyers as well. They have actually deviated from devotional service to the Lord. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu manifested himself to show that cultivation of love for Krishna in separation is the easiest way of success for all living entities. Despite this fact, there are some theosophists who declare that because Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, such cultivation is easy for him, but difficult for the living entity, and that one can therefore approach Krishna in any way he likes. To nullify this idea, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu demonstrated practically how one can achieve love of Krishna by adopting Srimati Radharani's mood in separation from Krishna. 15. Divyon Made Aichehaya Ki Iha Vishmaya Adhirudha Bhave Divyon Mada Pralapahaya. Such is the state of transcendental madness. Why is it difficult to understand? When one is highly elevated in love of Krishna, he becomes transcendentally mad and talks like a madman. 16. Etasya mohanha kyasya gatim kam apya upeshusha brahma baka pivaichitri divyon madha itiryate Udgurna chitra jalpadyas tadbheda bhavo mata. When the ecstatic emotion of enchantment gradually progresses, it becomes similar to bewilderment. Then, one reaches the stage of astonishment, Vaichitri, which awakens transcendental madness. Udgurna and Chitrajalpa are two among the many divisions of transcendental madness. Purport. This is a quote from the Ujjvala Nilamani, Sthāyi Bhava Prakarana 174. Thus ends our reading for today. All glories to Sripad Bhaktimadhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmala Charya Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Rupanuga Guvarga Ki Jai. All glories to the Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the worldwide devotees, all the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Jai Giri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Haribol. Hare Krishna.